has Saramonic come up with the best wireless radio mic system in the market today, because giving you 32-bit flow recording, it means that you have the range to record amazing sound. And I've been using it for a number of weeks on my cameras, my smartphone and my DJI Pocket 3. And the quality that I got is fantastic. And they did send this unit to me for testing, but the views and opinions are mine and only mine. And to help me with this review, I have a colleague of mine, Lucas, that wants to ask a few questions about this microphone. So I thought I could use that as the base for this review.
Hi Samuel, hi everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to ask a few questions about these mics. So tell me, I already have a set of different wireless mics, and even though I always want something better, what is so special about these microphones?
The main thing is that you have a 32-bit float recording signal, and that means that you are pretty much never going to clip your sound. That's going to give you a really wide range of recording. And not only that, but the microphones can cope with up to 130 decibels, and that's the range for serious hearing damage. So that gives you a huge range. So for instance, if you want to record dramas in a concert, that's no problem. You set the microphones to low gain and you're gonna get some really nice and crisp sound. The same applies, for instance, if you want to record at a nightclub right next to some speakers. Normal microphones can't handle that, but with these microphones, no problem.
Okay, that's nice, but what if I want to use them with a higher-end camera or in a multi-camera setup?
That's actually a really good question. And if you're gonna film with a camera like this, it's very simple. You put it onto the horseshoe mount, stick it through the 3.5mm input jack, and off you go. But if you are on a multi-camera setup, one thing that is great about these microphones is that you can record timecode. You can set the timecode, and that way it's really easy to have all the cameras synced either on location or in post. Another thing that is great is that you get this little antenna, and what this antenna does is not only increases the range up to 300 meters. Why would anybody want to record sound 300 meters away? But the great thing about this antenna is not so much the longer distance that you can record at, it's the fact that if you are filming somewhere where there are some interferences, let's say that you are at a live event, a live venue, at a concert, you're going to have a lot of interferences, and this increases the range and ensures that you're not going to have any problems whatsoever. This is something really nice that you're not going to find with any microphones in this price range. And let me show you now how amazing the range of these microphones is, because I am now at well over 100 meters in distance, and as you can clearly see, there is no problem with the reception. The signal is recorded nice and clear, crispy, no problem whatsoever. And this is without using the antenna.
Okay, that's good to know. But most of the times I use either my small mirrorless camera or my phone. So is this really a good option?
You can either record from the transmitter itself using it as a microphone, and you get a little fluffy for when you're filming outdoors, and the quality of the sound is really good. You clip it onto your shirt or your polo or your jacket and off you go. And I'll show you later in the video a few ways to hide the microphones. The bundle that I got comes with a lavalier microphone, 2 lavalier microphones. So that's actually really nice, because that gives you a wider range of recording situations. You're not limited to the unit. And just for your reference, this is how the audio sounds when I record it directly onto the microphone built into the transmitter. Compare that to how it sounds when I use the lavalier that they provide. And this is the quality of the sound when you record it through the lavalier microphones that come with the Saramonic Ultra. And I think the sound is really good. And yes, I know I'm wearing a t-shirt, and this is a bit of a crude and rough way to do it, but hopefully this helps you see the difference between the quality of the sound that you get when you record it using the built-in microphone and a lavalier microphone. The wireless microphone comes with these adapters that you can clip onto the unit itself and then attach it directly onto the smartphone or even the Pocket 3. That's a really nice range of options that you have. And remember that the transmitter themselves, they have an 8GB storage, so you're recording 32-bit float internally as well as on your Pocket 3 or your smartphones, you are pretty much guaranteeing that you are always going to have good quality. Because if the sound on the cameras is not great, you can always go back to the 32-bit float and you can pretty much recover any audio. And to give you an example, this is what audio recorded at 24-bit sounds. And I'm not doing anything special, I'm just recording the microphone straight onto the camera. Now I switch to the 32-bit float recording internally onto the transmitter and listen to how much better the quality of the sound is. And what makes 32-bit float so amazing is that if I was to raise my voice and speak very loud, as it happens when sometimes people raise or lower the tone, in post-production the audio has clipped and I will not be able to recover that because it's just too loud. But when I switch to the 32-bit audio, look how much more information and data has been recorded, and I can recover that sound and make it sound good. If I was to raise my voice, and this is what makes 32-bit float so amazing.
And what about the screen of the receiver? Is it a good quality? Is it easy to operate? Because in some of the mics that I have, the screen can be a bit temperamental.
The LED or the OLED screen on this unit is really good, very responsive. I haven't had any issue whatsoever. The menu layout is very simple, very straightforward. I mean, it's impossible to get it wrong. And the fact that you have an analog dial, that's really nice, because a lot of the times you don't want to be fiddling with the screen and adjusting the settings on the screen because you might not be quite accurate, whereas if you have a dial, that's really, really accurate. And you also have buttons to lock so that you don't accidentally change the settings or do anything that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, the analog dial is a nice touch. What about when using it outdoors on a rainy day? Is it waterproof? And also, I am assuming it has some noise cancellation, but are the buttons easy to press by accident?
I know exactly what you mean, because there is nothing worse than having a few droplets and having to run for cover and stop filming. So in that regard, these microphones are waterproof. They have a rating of IPX5. And what that means is that you cannot really go in the water, but for rain and a few droplets, no problem whatsoever. And to illustrate how amazing this waterproof is, I'm just gonna pour this glass of water over it, as you can clearly see, and shake it to dry, and I press record, and this is still recording, no problem whatsoever. And another thing that is great about these microphones is that if you use Sony cameras, which I think you do, it has an adapter that connects onto the horseshoe mount, and you don't even need wires. It connects directly into the camera. I just wish they would do one for Canon cameras, because I am a Canon user. And let's not forget that this is $100 cheaper than the DJI microphones, and I personally think that they give you a lot more functionality. And another thing that I personally think is great is that these microphones have noise cancellation. So if you are filming outdoors in pretty much any camera and you are in a noisy environment, you can just press the noise cancellation button and it's gonna cut off a lot of the environmental noise. And to show you how much it actually cancels, I've come to a very busy junction. There is a lot of road traffic around here, but if I press the noise cancellation, listen to how much better the voice is. And yes, to some this might be a bit too extreme, but if I'm recording something that needs to go straight to social media platforms and I don't have time to do any sound editing, I think this sounds really good. Now, personally, I prefer to do this in post because I then have control over how little or how much of that effect I get.
The price being lower than the DJI mics is actually great. It definitely helps. But the problem I have is that a lot of the times I struggle to really decide what is the best way to use these mics.
Well, there are a few things that you can do about this. Obviously, you can go straight onto your shirt and off you go, you're recording sound. And obviously you want to make sure that you have the fluffy or the wind guard, because otherwise you're potentially going to have wind hitting the microphone. But that's a bit of a crude or rude way to do it. You can always plug it onto the jacket, or if you have blazer or something, you can hide it maybe not so much on the outside but on the inside. It really is down to you. You need to put a little bit of imagination. Another thing that is really helpful is you have this magnet that is actually really strong, and one thing that you can do is just more or less put it on the chest area and then clip it there. And obviously, as you can clearly see, this is black against white, but if I was to bring it down a little bit more to say here, you can pretty much get away with it and you're not gonna have a lot of rustling. Now, the problem with this setup is that you do see the microphone. It's unavoidable, but on a pinch, if you don't have anything else to use, this is the way to go.
But personally, I'd like to hide the lav mics, but I am always unsure about the best way to do it. Or if I am on a rush, is it okay to just record directly onto the unit and clip it somewhere on the shirt? I always worry it looks terrible on camera. Is there anything you recommend so it doesn't take too much time but looks good?
I personally hate to see the microphones. It's a thing that I just don't like it. So there is a few things that I can give you, a few suggestions. The microphones come with these lavalier microphones, and you can either clip it nicely into the jacket, or if you have a shirt, you can clip it somewhere in between the buttons and hide it that way, similar to what you see in news anchors on TV. Now, obviously, that's again a bit of a crude way to mic yourself. One thing that you can do as well is get yourself some of these foamies, and you can just slide the microphone in there, and that's gonna give enough cushion. Stick this on the inside of the shirt, on the actual shirt, not on your skin, but on the shirt. And the reason for this is because if you stick this to your skin, which is what a lot of people do, you're gonna get the rustling of the clothing as you move. But if you stick this to the actual collar of the shirt, that's gonna then sit right next to your skin, and that's not gonna move. So you're gonna reduce a lot the rustling. Well, that's pretty much gone, and you can then either run the cable through and then put it in your pocket, or if you really want to be very right down to detail, you can then stick a bit of tape on the skin, and then it's just pretty much down to how much time you have to either mic yourself or the person on camera. And if you work with women, that's almost even better, because you can use their bra as the hiding point. And when they button the shirt or put the t-shirt or whatever they have on top, you're not gonna see the microphone. And those are the two ways that I usually mic myself and people when I am in a bit of a rush. Obviously, if I have 15 or 20 minutes, you can go really right down to detail and stick tape around the collar and run it through the back. But it depends on the type of production or filming that you do. It's not the same to be doing a bit of a run and gun filming or vlogging than it is doing a corporate video where you might have half an hour to an hour of setup time. So again, that's a lot of possibilities there. But as a whole, these microphones give you so much, not only the quality, the internal recording of 32-bit float, but you get 2 lavalier microphones, noise cancellation, 130 decibel range. That's just insane. I think, Lucas, if you invest in these microphones, you and your clients are gonna be really happy. And like everything, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It's really nice to see the numbers going up, and I'll see you in the next one.